and I received quite a flurry of nominations from the community for unsung heroes. Now, the community, through my own outreach, is defining what an unsung hero is and nominating who the unsung heroes are, and there are a handful of people in both counties, neutral people, who are recommending from these compiled lists who I should do the portraits for. Now, they are oil commemorative portraits, 30 by 40 in size, in a traditional classical approach, and there will only be 10. They'll be exhibited, well, there might be more if I can, but I'm not committing to more than 10. They'll be exhibited next summer at the Delaware County Historical Society galleries, and then next fall, throughout the fall, at the Fenimore Museum's Community Gallery, and there are a few tentative venues after that in 2016, but that's down the road. So we have the painted portraits, we have the community telling me who they think is an unsung hero, and I would like to have people here encourage, well, not only yourselves, but people you know, to make nominations to me. There are a few, I have half a page of Delaware County nominations, and I have 3 pages from Otsego County. So we gotta get Delaware County going here. I live right here in Delhi. I live about 2 minutes away. I walked here. And I've lived in Delaware County for about 13 years. And so I'm going to just, this is the article that came out in the Oneonta paper. I didn't bring the Delaware County paper one by mistake. I brought the Oneonta one, please forgive me. But it's a thorough article. I have a couple of, I have a bunch of copies of the in-depth project description if people want more in-depth. My email address is in this article, and these are some of the criteria that have been given to me by the community. There's a long list. We have quite a few nominations in the human services military area, and so I'm looking for more now of the really unsung hero, you know, that nobody really knows about, that really has never been recognized beyond maybe just a few folks who know the person. It's a tricky thing, but they're out there. I know they're all over the place. There's so many. So I'm going to leave this list here in case anyone wants to look. I'm going to leave my card. And I would just encourage people to email me. Let's see if I've forgotten anything. I told you where we're exhibiting. Oh, that's another thing. Delaware Academy School has selected a few art students who will work with me. I'm working now with SUNY Delhi for a few things, and I have a handful of students from SUNY Oneonta working with me, and what they will do are they will interview the unsung heroes, do a videography of them, each person. There'll be like a historical component. How does each person connect to the history of the area? So it's really a multimedia exhibit, although my role is to do the 10 portraits. So that's it. I overwent a couple minutes, but there's my materials, and I just don't want people to, you know, read the article in the paper and be afraid to email me like something horrible will happen. If, you know, I'm not really a quack. So. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Okay, next up, Mary Ann.
In case people don't know me, I'm Mary Ann Greenfield. I'm the Delhi Town Historian. And I came to the board last March, I think it was, with an idea that I had for photographing, documenting, and mapping with GPS coordinates all of the gravestones in all of the town of Delhi cemeteries. And I have to start off with a little caveat about this. I made a mistake on the map. As the board has seen, it's kind of a tricky program. I had to put numbers in all of the little gravestones and then match it up to the actual names on the gravestones. I documented the name, all of the information that was on the stone, and the GPS coordinates. The end of this is I upload the information then with photographs of each stone to Matt Kristen, who will eventually upload it to the Town of Delhi webpage. And there are a lot of people who have moved away from here, whose families are buried in Delhi cemeteries. This doesn't include Woodland Cemetery because it's not a Town of Delhi cemetery. When I started the project, I thought I was going to be comparing what I found to historical records, and that turns out not to be the case. The historical records were done in 2001, and they're just completely erroneous, so I can't really go by the historical records. So I'm kind of making my own historical records now. This is probably the most comprehensive, it's definitely the most comprehensive work that's ever been done on the Town of Delhi cemeteries. I also am considering applying for a grant to the O'Connor Foundation to teach the town historians in the other towns in Delaware County how to do what I'm doing so that they can all preserve that information. And the reason is because the stones in the cemeteries are still disappearing pretty rapidly, especially the information on the stones that's nearly illegible. Sometimes I can read it and sometimes I can't. So I wanted to just catch the board up on what I've done so far. I will get you a copy of the map, the page that's missing, which is the right side of the cemetery of the Christian church. That's the first one I did. I really thought that I was going to whip through this in 2 years, and I did one cemetery this year. So there's no whipping through it. It's really labor intensive, and but I got the complete Christian church, which is by Fitch's Bridge, completely done, left and right side. So that all that information, and I just have to make a few adjustments on the map as to the numbers that coincide with the names, and then that one will be completely done. I'm going to work my way down. I'm going to do Frisbee Cemetery next, and all of the ones that are listed on the New York State Gen webpage as Town of Delhi cemeteries. So this is going to take me a little bit longer than I thought, but I just wanted to let you know where I was at with it.
Okay, thank you.
Great.
All right, moving on to approval of the minutes from October 14th meeting. There is one change. The resolution numbers were all off by 1. So instead of 3, 4, 5, 6, and 3, 4, 5, and 6, they should have actually been numbered 4, 5, 6, and 7. We had the one missing from the.
I didn't get that report.
You didn't get the minutes?
No.
Okay. I'm not sure where I got it, nobody else did. She had any copies there?
So she'll be right out.
Okay. Nancy on that one.
Copies of the minutes.
You have
Did you have-
copies?
I've got copies of the minutes, but nobody else does.
Uh-oh.
I'll go make
So nobody wants to make the motion to accept them.
Oh, no.
I don't see them, minutes.
Let me look at yours. I'll read through it.
I looked through your stuff.
They're not there. Okay, they're on my computer. You wanna skip it, go on, and I'll go get them?
I think we can.
Mark has a copy,
Check
but
this out here.
if you can make copies of this.
Oh,
or you-
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry about that.
None of the resolutions changed.
It's just the number.
The numbering of them changed because resolution 3, which was a month or two ago, was not one that I typed up. It was one that we, from the county.
Yes.
So I didn't have it listed on my computer, so when I went and numbered them, I put one of ours as 3 because
With the Martin presentation.
I forgot that other one, so.
Right.
So
We
they're
should have
all
started
off
with
by,
number 4.
you started with 3, so they're all off by
Still the
1.
same order as last month, it's just add one to each resolution.
And I think that's why I don't have minutes, I had the minutes all done up and then realized that's what happened, so I pulled them all back and changed all the numbers.
I got the change copy.
Yeah?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Make a motion, we accept the minutes from October 14th.
Second.
With the correction to the.
With the correction.
With the correction. Well, they've been.
They've been
They've been
corrected.
corrected, yeah, they're corrected. Second,
Second.
Tom? All in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
Thank you.
Alright, Maggie finally got the bugs worked out of the software program with some help. And, her financial report, for the fiscal year ended December 31st of 2013 has been filed with the state. We just need a motion to accept the fact that we filed the annual report.
So moved.
Is there a second? Second by Matt. All in favor?
Aye.
Alright, is there any old business we need to discuss tonight?
I can think of.
Would this one fit under old business or not really?
Nah, not yet. Not
The
sure it's
letter?
even new.
We can go
We've
under-
got new business, yeah, we've got new business, we've got the letter requesting the town look into adopting a noise ordinance. Did everybody get a copy of that letter? What the feeling is of the rest of the board. I know I've worked with several areas that have tried to do this. And to solve all the problems, you throw a really big net that usually winds up catching a lot of stuff you didn't intend to catch. And if you don't throw a big enough net, everybody finds a loophole. So I don't know whether we wanna pass this off to the planning board for their recommendation, or,
Well, I did go and talk to Carol, because, and I live in the village and we have noise ordinance there. And I've taken advantage of it. I mean, I've called people out on it, cause I'm sympathetic to what she's saying. I mean, and she wrote a great letter. And in this case, I mean, this is an extreme case. This is just, somebody needs to get their kids in line, in my humble opinion. But, I mean, if my kids were doing this, it would be, I would be.
exactly.
So,
I mean,
I
we're
wanna
all
do something about
sympathetic to the situation. The difference between the village and the town, we don't have a police force in the town. Because what we do in the village is the village police officer can make the judgment if he feels it's excessive noise. He's authorized to write the ticket to deal with it.
these are the police.
The village police are. Our problem is in the town, who are we gonna have do it? How long is it gonna take them to respond? And what are we gonna use for criteria? Are we gonna go by a decibel meter, which means we've gotta buy some expensive equipment, or?
Well, does a sheriff doesn't have to enforce our ordinance?
No. Sheriffs don't have that equipment on them either. There's one unit in the county.
So towns that have, I mean, because I know that towns have adopted noise ordinances, they have police forces. Is that the difference, do you think?
Yeah.
This has been discussed at previous boards. Were you on at the time?
We've had this issue, you know, I guess,
And
I don't-
Al Alwine brought it up.
yeah,
about
Al
dogs
brought it
barking.
up,
But it-
with the
before
dog
that, it
situation.
was-
And I think there's enough concern of people out there that it is something I think that we need to address it, you know, I don't know that we've ever really addressed it, you know, and said, you know, we've actually looked into this and here's what the problems are. So I don't know whether it's something that we need to discuss with planning or, you know, and actually look into this and find out what the real, you know, can we do it? If we can't do it, why can't we do it? You know.
Well, the dog issues with kennels coming into the town.
Well, with the kennels, there's already guidelines in the planning for that. The strict guidelines how a kennel has to be built and all of it's in the planning. So that's not really a problem. I think where Al runs into problems is with people who have more than a couple of dogs at their residence and they all get barking at the same time, and this is an issue. I mean, you know, my parents went through this several years ago when they lived here. There were no ordinance to stop a guy from putting a refrigerated truck across the street from their house and running it 24/7. It drove my mother insane, literally. And,
But you did.
I did too. But it's still one of those issues where she was told there isn't anything we can do because there's no noise ordinance. In her case, they were able to hire an attorney, and because they had lived there longer than the people across the street, they were able to come to an agreement.
Kind of a quality of
They
life
had a
kind of
quality of
also.
life that they had enjoyed before these folks moved in. So that's kind of where it ends up at, without a law out there. And again, I can see a problem with how are you going to enforce it. If the dogs aren't barking when the police show up, who's gonna put the meter out the window and say, yeah, the dogs are too, you know, but I still think it's something that we need to, you know, have an answer for these people. I know Carol's problem up there, it's really, I feel bad for them, I really do. It's unfortunate that they have to have that situation going on across the street. I don't know if they've considered an attorney or not, I don't know.
They did call an attorney that he recommended to them, and the attorney told them, you're not gonna win. And that maybe if there was an ordinance, you might have a better chance. But even then, I mean, that doesn't, I don't believe, I understand that ordinance doesn't solve the problem, but people live here for a reason. I mean, they live here because it's peaceful, and this is like terrorism.
Especially out in
Right.
the town, in the village.
Exactly.
The points that came up last time, and it probably was a few years ago, about the noise ordinance was who, okay, it's too loud, but by whose standards?
Yeah, that's the problem.
And the decimal meter, how many feet away? And how can you prove they were 50 feet, not 45 feet? Or, you know, it was just too many technicalities involved in it that it couldn't be enforced.
Yeah, I know
Someone-
when I was
There's so
working
many
with town
loopholes.
council,
Somebody came in and talked to us about it, I don't remember who,
Franklin's
but,
been trying to work
but
on one
it's-
for years,
Yeah,
and
it's
they're
tough.
just.
yeah, and it just
Andy's
ended
put
up,
one out
it's,
there and they pulled it.
it just really can't.
It's
Can't
tough to
do it.
enforce.
We don't live in the
It's-
village, so we can do things like shoot your gun.
Yeah.
That's why
Ride your
people
four-wheeler,
live,
ride your snowmobile.
that's why people live in the town and not the village.
And then you get into,
Have some
what, you
chickens.
But
know,
then you get the
Abuse
ones that abuse
Yeah.
it, like.
but then you get the people mowing their lawn. If you work nights, people mowing their lawn early in the morning irritate the people that work nights. And it's, you know,
You're not
where do you draw
responsible.
the
Yeah.
lines on all the different
You
issues?
can't, that's
And-
it.
Or you live in an agriculture district and right now, I mean, they're harvesting corn, they're going all night long.
Mm-hmm.
So the choppers are going,
Mm-hmm.
trucks are on the road,
Yeah.
wagons going up and down. It's difficult.
Well, this, I mean, this letter, I feel like they've thought of everything. I mean, they're sympathetic to farmers, which I think we all are, that they gotta work when they gotta work. But this situation, it's like, there's people violating their quality of life, and not just doing it, but they're like rubbing it in their face, going by,
Right.
giving them the finger, you know, intentionally shooting gravel at them as they drive by their house. It's like
Right.
thug
It's- yeah.
behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know the kids who are doing it, but
Why couldn't the sheriff, somebody go up and just speak with them and maybe
The
scare them a
sheriff
little
had,
bit?
the sheriff has
Sheriff has
been there.
been out
He
there.
has?
you
The
know.
sheriff has been there, but I
Are
don't
you
know how
having
much
a
they.
problem by you
Couple
too,
times.
Tom?
Oh, yeah,
Because Faulkner's
oh, yeah.
made a complaint here too.
I've got a dirt trap right next to
You
me.
do, and you have jumps, and you got the whole thing, and they start at 6 o'clock in the morning and do it till 9, 10 o'clock at night. And now, since we have basically informed them that we can't do anything because they live in the town, they are just loving it, I'm gonna
They
tell
have
you.
a
It's
400-yard rifle range up there.
Yeah, they're gonna be worse, because,
Well, these
They
are
can.
people also that they're not full-time residents.
no,
And they come up here to blow off steam, because
Mhm.
where they live, they can't
right.
in their state.
That,
So you have the same problem Carol has, so.
I sympathize.
but Carol's there all the time,
Oh, really?
Yes.
but yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and she
and she works with them also.
Oh, dear Lord.
she noted that it's daily, that sometimes they're not going to school because they'd rather be, you know, riding their four-wheelers, and that they've tried to, you know, everything. They've gone to them, talked to them, been friendly with them. Then they called the police, and then, now it's just like.
Do they own the home, the
Yeah.
people?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, I was hoping they rented or something.
They bought it.
and she now has put her house up for sale because she said it's enough.
And
Can't,
she's lived there how long?
34 years.
That's sad.
Yeah, I don't know what they do in down the bayou. I mean, there'd be some Cajun justice down there, but. not that
We
I'm-
can't go there on camera.
Not that I'm encouraging though, it's just,
I'm glad you put that disclaimer in there. Yeah, it's, I don't know.
well, I think that I'm with Al. I mean, I'm so sympathetic that I think we've gotta have we have to have this official reason other than just, it won't work.
Why don't I talk to Nicole County Planner, see what other towns have come up with, whether it's working, not working,
I think
some ideas.
Yeah, I think we need to at least,
Then
take
we can
the
decide
time,
whether we wanna
to
pass it on to the
see, yeah,
planning board to
yeah, what's
work on
happening.
more.
yeah,
Alright. Everybody agreeable to that?
That's what I'd like to.
Alright. I'll talk to the county planner about it. Okay. Well, let's jump down to committee reports. Highway machinery,
Yeah, I was just, I'm sorry, Mark, I was
Sorry.
caught you off guard.
No.
somewhere else. I just wanted to mention, though, you will respond to Carol on that, or
Yeah,
Because I-
yeah.
let her know we're gonna try to.
I'll either call her or I usually run into it.
Okay.
If not, I'll send a letter just so I know we're looking into it.
Okay. Yeah, highway, Darren's here tonight, but, I'll let you go ahead with that one.
Sure. We're pretty well equipment-wise ready for winter. We've obviously done some extensive repairs to get to that point, but we're pretty well ready on that. Project-wise, we're gonna keep working as long as we can on it. We got numerous projects that we still wanna finish up, some that we have to finish up, so we're gonna do that as long as we can. And hopefully Mother Nature cooperates, but we don't sit around, so we're gonna continue to work in between everything else. I guess that's it for that. I guess I'd like to also propose the approval of a seasonal employee for the remainder of the year. Micah Scobie, CDL, qualified driver, and he's willing to give, he actually has the hours available that we require, which is every time of the day. So he's got quite a few months there that he can work, pretty much the winter months. So he's, like I said, qualified and
Yeah, so you're looking to get him added to the list of.
added to the
part-time
seasonal list, yep.
seasonal that we started in January.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we add him to the seasonal list.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
As long as
Like this.
as long as all his licensing is,
Yeah, he's got all the ones.
Yep.
He works
Okay.
for it.
okay.
And then you'll get all that stuff to Maggie.
She already has it.
Okay.
Yeah, she's got it. I'll take a look at it.
And our trucks are on their way, or coming, or be here before
Yeah.
long?
Yeah, one will definitely be here Thursday. I'm not sure what hour by the time it gets here from Jamestown.
Which one?
The used
Okay.
93.
And you'll be putting the box on here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're gonna do all that in house.
Yeah.
The brand new one, the 2015, they promised by the end of the month.
Okay.
I'm sure it will be the end of the month, but that's the progress on it right now.
So the Sanders are on the other two trucks and,
Yep, all ready to go. We're waiting to get 2 more back from repairs. We'll have them back tomorrow and Friday. Otherwise, we're good. Yes.
Can I ask a question?
Yep.
Are we getting the same mud we've had for years on our roads again this
Nope.
year?
We don't use mud anymore.
I don't know what it was, but.
No.
no.
It will have probably, some of it will have that reddish tint to it for a while, till it gets cleaned off. It was brought in a lot earlier, stockpiled a lot earlier, so a lot of it should be
Okay, so
clean.
it should be somewhat cleaner.
Yep, yep.
That's where we ran into problems early this year. We ran out
yeah,
of the cleaner stuff and the only pit we could get into was the nasty mud.
everything else is frozen.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
They-
it's-
They were the only one who would get in there with equipment and bust it up, so we had something to put down.
Mhm.
yeah. Some of it, Don, is still gonna come from Delaware County, and of course, no matter where you get it from Delaware County, it's
We
red.
had some.
unless it's
Okay,
on
I was
the
just
FDOT,
curious,
so.
because some of that's really nasty.
Yep.
I love spending all that money on a new car and driving over that garbage. So,
Yep.
just wondering.
Yeah, the mud days are gone, but
The
the,
mud
there'll
days
be a
are
little bit
gone.
of sun next time.
We only use that up by your house.
I think so. I know. Okay, just curious. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
I have some information for you, if, are you gonna stay till?
Yeah, I'll stick around.
Is that it for highway?
That's it, yep, for now.
Matt, health and youth?
For the health and youth report, just an update on the skating rink. I was up there today with Tom Leo, the surveyor, and I wanted to say thanks to him because he donated his services to mark the area so that we can make it level, which will be better for the skate for the ice, it'll be a higher quality, it'll be easier to set up, and it